What is up, folks? We're going to take a real quick guide to talk through. Excuse me, my mic just turned on. We're going to take a real quick guide to talk through all of the places where you can find all of the companions available in Act 1 in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, a couple quick addendums. I'm going to talk about some bonus ones at the end, but I'm really going to focus on the kind of core companions because Baldur's Gate 3 is such a characterful game, and your companions are the ones who can be with you through the entire story. So it's really important to be able to find them. You can then choose what to do with them later, I suppose. But so you know where they are to really get the most out of your choices and the story in Baldur's Gate 3. So to start, which is your first companion, after you finish the prologue, you'll be landed on this beach right here, and you'll find Shadowheart right around here on the beach, just lying on the beach. And then you get the dialogue options to interact with her to go ahead and recruit her. Now, as we go up along the side of the beach, you can go through this path right here to talk to or to fight, excuse me, with the intellect devourers. And then over here on the beach, you will find Astarion, um, and he will ambush you. Good luck. Then, as you continue up this path and go through here, I believe it's right here, you'll find a stuttering, bugged out portal, and that's where you will find Gale. He's either at this entrance, I believe he is, or up here, but I think he's here. Note that if you are playing as the Dark Urge, do not give in to your fantasy. There's a moment where you can give into a fantasy there, and if you do that, you will not be able to recruit Gale. I won't go into details, but yeah, I was like, oh, it's just a fantasy. What harm can it do? And then boom, playthrough had no Gale. My bad. And then as we continue up here, you can take one of two paths. You can either go up this way, I believe it's here, that you can find Lae'zel in this space there. Um, somewhere up in here, actually, I should find that exact space, but it's in this area. You can find Lae'zel, and I believe it's right there. But then also, I would go ahead and get her first. And also shout out here to the Party Limit Be Gone mod. That's a mod you can use where you can have the entire party, every single character, so you don't miss any conversation options. I really appreciate that. It does make the game a little bit easier and a little bit more complicated because you have so many party members. But you don't get that moment where you go to camp and figure out, like, okay, for this encounter, who am I going to have with me and who not? There's so many like organic moments where the characters will react to things that happen in the world. I think you should have them all with you if at all possible. But there's that. In this ruin here, there's a bunch of fights, and in a hidden temple, dank crypt, excuse me, inside that dank crypt, you will find withers in here. Make sure not to miss him, but I believe that if you do miss him, he does still appear in your camp later because he's such an important character to the game. No spoilers there. As you continue up here, there's going to be a big fight, and you will meet Wyll here, but you can't recruit him until you go into the Druid Grove and go over here where there's combat training. Here with combat training with the kids right there. That's where you can find and recruit Wyll. And then Wyll will encourage you to go on a quest to kill Karlach. So you continue down this path here, go this way, note the secret door there, and then go on over here. And here you can find Scratch, your lovely companion puppy. And you can recruit him as well. Having the ability to speak with animals is very helpful. And yeah, you'll talk to him. You won't recruit him right away, but then you will have the option to have him join you in camp later. As you go on up here, there's a side quest here you want to go ahead and trigger before you go ahead and talk and look for Karlach. Because Karlach will make you deal with it as well either way. And Karlach herself can be found on these rocks here by the side of the river. No spoilers there. We'll just continue talking about where you can find the companions. Then as you continue on down here, in the ruined village under this building, this one right here, there is a cellar where you can find a hidden portal. And in that, you have the option to summon a mephit named Shovel. And Shovel is actually, if you have a wizard memorize the spell before you cast it, then you can, because you get a scroll. So you get a scroll to summon the mephit. His name is Shovel. He's a very sassy character. If you have a wizard learn that spell, they can then recast it throughout the game. Otherwise, it's a single cast, and if he is unsummoned for any reason, you'll lose him. So make sure a wizard memorizes that before you actually cast it. And then over here, just as a quick bonus, you've got the three ogres, and I forget their names, but you can talk to the three ogres, and you can persuade them to join you. Lump. It is Lump and the other two ogres. You can recruit them there. They're not really companions, but they do have sort of an impact in the story, so it's important to go ahead and highlight that. And then continuing on, as we go down here, or however you choose to get to it, to the Goblin Camp. In the Goblin Camp, um, you will find Minthara, who I did not realize at first was a recruitable companion, and so I killed her. Cool. You'll find both Minthara and Halsin. Let's see if we got those. There's a goblin camp, goblin camp. Well, that's the Underdark, man. Okay. While I'm doing this, here we go. So in the Ward Pens area, you will find Halsin the Druid in the goblin camp very deep, and you can help him escape to go ahead and rejoin the Grove, so you can recruit him later. Here in the Shattered Sanctum, I believe this is the inside of the goblin camp, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, okay. You will find Minthara over here in her own little quiet panel there. And if you use non-lethal attacks to knock her out, you can go ahead and recruit her in your party later, I believe in Act 2. You also can side with her to attack the Druid Grove, and if you do that, wipe out the Grove, you'll lose access to some companions, but you will be able to recruit Minthara early and have her with you then. So there's that. And then also here, but yeah, so you can knock her out and then recruit her later. So the non-lethal attacks is really important for Minthara. Let's see, who have I missed? So we've got Shadowheart, Astarion, Gale, Lae'zel, Withers, Wyll, Wyll, Karlach, Scratch, Shovel, and I may be missing that. It's one of these buildings here has the thing underneath it where you can find Shovel. Then you've got Minthara in the Goblin Camp, and then you have Halsin in the Ward Pens. And a couple quick bonuses too. You will also find Alfira. She's a character you can find here in the Druid Grove. You find her on the hillside, I believe, over here. And she can be a temporary companion in a Dark Urge playthrough, but extremely temporary with a violent end. Spoilers. You can use non-lethal attacks to have her survive. And if you do use non-lethal attacks in a Dirge playthrough to have Alfira survive, then you'll be joined by a Dragonborn alternative character who shows up in your camp later to fill in that role, who's a very interesting character. So that's a bonus one. Also, another bonus if you play as Lae'zel, as the origin character Lae'zel, in that opening in the intro, another character steps in to take her place. So that's another character you can interact with who you'll only see if you do a Lae'zel origin playthrough. A couple other bonuses. You do have a bunch of characters that kind of hop along. I'm not going to cover all of that. Those are the kind of permanent companions. Later on, you can recruit both Jaheira and Minsc from all the way back in Baldur's Gate 1 through the entire franchise. In this game, you can also recruit Minthara and Minsc. Just make sure, Jaheira and Minsc. Jaheira and Minsc. Make sure that Jaheira survives Act 2, so when she goes to attack somewhere, make sure that you go with her and keep her alive. And then Minsc, I have not found him yet in Act 3, but he's in there somewhere. And so you can find both of them and they can be companions with you as well. I believe that's everyone. There are also some additional summons and temporary characters you run into as well, but those are the big ones. Well, there are two kind of things to mention. In that same dungeon where you find Shovel, or very nearby in that shattered place, you'll also find the Necromancy of Thay book, which you can use to summon a zombie, and that's a summonable. It's not really a companion, but no. And then similarly, in the Hags encounter, you can also keep the zombie. I'm not going to go into spoilers on that. If you want to keep the Hag Zombie, you can and have it be a returnable summon, but that doesn't count the same. Oh, I almost missed one. In the Owlbear Cave, I believe is right here, you can actually get the Owlbear Cub to join your camp as well. Just a really cute character, a cool character. It's a little bit dark how you recruit it, and I haven't really found a purpose for it other than to be a friend for Scratch, which is really, very cute. There we go. I hope I haven't missed anyone, and that is your guide for where all of the companions are in Baldur's Gate 3, Act 1, and a little beyond. Hopefully this is helpful. Shout out to IGN for this interactive map, where if you really want spoilers, I'll link this in the description of the video. You can do this thing and see everything. Let's actually check ourselves real quick. So I think it is, see, Daughter of Darkness. There we go. That's where you find Shadowheart. Over here is where we find Astarion, right there. Yeah, Pale Elf. What's this? No, that's not it. Continuing up here, it is there. You will find Gale right there. Perfect. Over here, you will find Withers. And again, he's in that. Here you will find Lae'zel. Perfect. Got it. Up here, you will find, what's this guy? Wyll. Find Wyll. Very nice. Okay. And then over here you find Scratch. Aw. Over here you will find Karlach. Let's see if I can find these. Let's see what we got here. Oh, these are just question guides. That's going to be a lot more confusing and not as helpful. Yeah, it's here where you find Lump. Yeah, anyway. What's this? Oh god, the frog. That frog scares the bejesus out of me. Won't go there. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. I'm just chattering now. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I got anything wrong or if this is helpful. Cheers.